second time around. Just as wonderful, with both feet on the ground. It's that second time you hear your love song sung. Makes you think perhaps that love, like youth, is wasted on the young. Love's more comfortable the second time you fall, like a friendly home the second time you call. Who can say what led us to this miracle we found? There are those who bet love comes but once, and yet I'm oh so glad we met the second time around. Thank you. My name is Linda Lee Michelet, and people always ask me, how did you start singing? When did you begin? Well, I always have a difficult time answering that, because if you're a singer, you've always sung.
We've actually created a sound for Linda. I mean, it's Peggy Lee music. She is singing Peggy Lee, but it's kind of our own thing now with this band.
No So in my home, we were always listening to Dixieland jazz, Turk Murphy and Castle Jazz Band, to name a few, but they had every Peggy Lee album, every Julie London album, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, all of them. They were like audio relatives. I just knew them. They were in my life. I heard them every day.
My initial introduction to Linda was through Paul Mazzio, the trumpet player in the ensemble. He came to me and said, man, I got this singer that wants to do this Peggy Lee tribute thing, and she's picked some great tunes off the Black Coffee album, some great blues arrangements by Quincy Jones, that sort of thing.
Peggy Lee had just died, and I was waiting for someone in town to do a Peggy Lee tribute. I couldn't believe that no one did. And so I approached Terry Currier, who owns Music Millennium, and I said, what do you think about doing a Peggy Lee tribute? And he knew me from a little group that I was in at the time, and he just gave me a chance and said, sure, why not? Call me darling, call me sweetheart, call me dear. Tell me, darling, all those words I long to hear. So we debuted the Peggy Lee show at Music Millennium, and it went so well. And Terry Currier, who owns Music Millennium, was so impressed with it. He asked me if I would do Julie London, and I thought, okay, I can do Julie London. So I researched her, and of course, once again, I grew up with all these albums. I knew every song, and I had a gold lame dress made, which is my favorite album cover about the blues with Julie London. And I got up and did the show, and from that show, Pacific Talent saw me there and gave me a chance to be at the Heathman Hotel. That was over 3 years ago, and I've been there ever since.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to the Heathman, the classiest place in town. We're so glad that you came this evening.
The band that I have at the Heathman is it's smaller, and because it has to be. But we still do Peggy Lee arrangements. I've never done anything but. I have a few Julie London things that I stick in, and a few other things, but basically I have painstakingly had Peggy Lee arrangements done for myself.
These arrangements were played by the great players of the time. I mean, Quincy Jones, everybody's heard of Quincy Jones. Quincy, I think, was in his 20s when he wrote these arrangements, fresh from the Count Basie band. Bill Holman's like a major New York guy, a major arranger. He's a guy that did all the arrangements on the Basin Street Live album, and you know, working from these records, I really tried to capture the feeling these guys had, the way they wanted these arrangements to sound behind Peggy Lee.
And these are the original arrangements, so...
Yeah, that's the other cool thing. I mean, we're emulating what she did.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think
Yeah.
it's a winner. We decided to pare it down to, instead of the 10 to 17 horns that you would have in a big band, pare it down to 4 horns. And little did we know that in rearranging the tunes for 4 horns, it would actually kind of create our own sound of this Peggy Lee music. So I think that's a real plus as well.
To dine on some fine